Well, okay, let me make sure there's no creepy person around here that's gonna jump out and get me or something. I'm in the dark, I'm in the park. But yeah, I don't like doing videos in my house. I really don't. And I live in an apartment, so everyone could hear you. But anyway, before I get kicked out of the park at night, I might as well try and make the video. Wow, the water's so still. It's creepy at nighttime. Jeez. I'm right over the water. You can't see. There's the ocean. Across the ocean. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to say, because I was reading about Cindy Watts' new book or something, or her journal, or whatever, it leaked online, whatever. But so yeah, reading through it was just like infuriating. It was unbelievable. Like, her character shows through, and it's really bad. Like, I know that she wanted to do it because people like her, they like the spotlight and all eyes on them, and she definitely wants to make her family, or herself, actually it's more like herself, she wants herself to look good, and she's trying to protect her image, and her family is nothing but extensions of her. So that's the reason why she wrote it. It's not to defend her son, and it's just to protect herself, that she was such a great mother, or she thinks she was, and that this other person, Shanann, came in and tainted her son or something. Like, how ridiculous are you? I mean, especially somebody that has experience with these kind of people. You are not fooling me, and you're not fooling a lot of people, because guess what? Awareness now is out on abusers such as yourself, okay? Narcissistic abusers. Well, guess what? There's a big group of us now that are going to call you out on your shit once and for all. All right, and the damage that you cause to your family, to whoever is around you, it needs to stop. And this is a great example of one, okay? This is a perfect example of a malignant narcissist. Most likely malignant, because this woman is just like oblivious. And she's got everyone under control. All the other family members, where are they? Do they say anything? Not a word. Especially her husband there. Her husband couldn't even speak for himself in the courtroom. He had to have someone else read his statement of, towards his son or whatever. But yeah, he's being controlled. He's a puppet. They're all puppets that are in that family dynamic. And unfortunately, Chris was pushed to the limit, okay? I mean, obviously he did a crime and he's evil inside. Because even if somebody's pushing you to do something, and they're very persistent, like a narcissistic family like his, I could see that, that she's getting in his head, and just constantly nagging, talking badly about his wife, didn't even go to his wedding. Like, who does that? Like, that's disrespectful. Wow, I sound like I got problems. That's disrespectful, disgusting, and man, she got balls though. She really has balls. Like, most people, even if they were narcissists, they would show up anyway because they're afraid of how they look. But in this situation, she did it not because she was afraid of how she was gonna look. She did it because she wanted to send a clear message to her daughter-in-law that she is unaccepted, um, and also to her son that they do not support him in any way. It's a very clear sign of that, and I think that's the worst thing you could do to somebody, like as their parent. What the hell? Holy shit. But this is a good example right here. This is really bringing awareness to the problem we have in society, of these people. They walk amongst us. They're your friends, they're your family, they're your co-workers, okay? They're not going to be a boogeyman in the dark. Like right now, I'm walking in the freaking dark in the park and I am not scared because you know what? My whole life has been a scary fucking um, horror movie, and it wasn't from creepy people, strangers. It was actually from my own family, from my own personal choices and people, people that are supposed to be close to me, intimate, have an intimate relationship. That's where uh, the scary people are, for the most part. Of course, I'm not gonna put myself in harm's way in like a dangerous neighborhood in the dark or something stupid like that. No, I mean common sense. But um, I feel much safer out here than I do in like my own family or within the people that I end up attracting for romantic partners. I feel more safe. So yeah, that really got me riled up to read it and to listen to it. I was listening to it online, one of very popular YouTubers, and it was just like, yep, yep. It was proving every suspicion I had about her and how she treated her son, which was a grown ass man, like a child, like she owned him, and she could never get satisfaction from anything that he did, all his accomplishments. It's unbelievable. And he does not like her. He tried to distance himself from her. He didn't want her there in the interrogation room. Um, he moved all the way to Colorado from North Carolina, not only because Shanann wanted to, but because it was good for him to do that, to get away from her. I mean, it was. It is the best thing that he could ever have done, even though he still carried the guilt and the grief that his mother put into him, that why don't they live near her, and then, oh my god, you know, that wears on a person. You're trying to have relationships with people and keeping your family together, plus your new family you created. That is hard to deal with. That's a reason for a lot of divorces, actually. A lot of divorces, and this happens more than we would like to admit. Okay, and these people create dangerous people because they're seething this inside. A person like him did not let out his anger. Okay, he held it in. He tried to keep the image, even in front of his mother, because he had no awareness of himself, of what he came out of. None of that. They don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you that in college. They don't teach you that in tech school. You gotta look for that information yourself. You gotta reach the rock bottom of life in the society to find the answers. Because no one's gonna tell you about that. Nobody. And still, people don't talk about it. It's like taboo and shit, and it's ridiculous. And I'm determined to bring out the awareness of personality disorders and what they do to the society that we're in. And that's why we have murders. That's why we have crime. That's why we're in a mess. We're in a big mess. The only way we can stop the insanity and bring down crime rates and you know low, lowering homelessness. Homelessness is also part of that. Your mentally ill people, they're not just chosen drug addicts. Okay, they're not just that's on the street. There's people mentally ill on the streets. People that were ostracized out of their families or communities, whatever. It's not just about drugs and a choice that you picked up drugs and now you must pay for it or something. No, that's ignorance and that's simple mindedness, and that's not how it works. So, this case has brought a ton of attention all around the world because it needs to be addressed. It cannot be swept under the rug or denied any longer. It has to stop. Like, we need to help people from a young age before they develop these kinds of disorders and go on to think that it's a shame to ask for help and all that. And they just go on with their life thinking they're justified by hurting other people. Um, so, Cindy Watts, you have a mental disorder. I do not feel sorry for you because you did not become aware at all any point in time in your life and how old you are, 50, 60 years old. By now, you should have woken up, realized you were hurting people, realized something that was not right. But no, this is why she must be a malignant narcissist in my eyes because um, she really nothing. I don't think anybody could sway her to think otherwise. That she was not a good mother. She's not a good person at all, and she's never gonna admit that. And usually, the ones higher on the scale, they don't want help. They think they're perfect. They didn't do nothing wrong. They're a victim, and they are in denial. They ignore things that goes on around them. They think they can make up their own stories, and people should just follow along with them. But guess what? Guess what? A lot of people know about what you've done. Um, you try to put a wedge between your son and his own wife and his own children. I mean, this is what happens, people. It happens every day. There's murders every day, okay? Within family units, and other murders. But still, you put a wedge between your own son, who's a man, not a boy. In your eyes, he's still a boy playing Little League, okay? In your head, um, you put a wedge between him and his wife because of envy, not jealousy, envy. You're jealous of your son because you want to possess him. You're envious of her because she made a good life for herself. She's a good looking woman, or whatever. A whole bunch of factors came into play that you hated her because you were envious of her. That's basically it. And you loaded the gun for your son to be confused. Confused is basically what I'm getting out of what he's been writing in his book, which I haven't received yet, but I've heard inserts of it. Um, so you confused the hell out of this guy. He didn't know what was up or down, right or wrong. He decided that Shanann was no good for him. Um, um, that he started hating her just like you hate her, and it just rubbed off on him because he really trusted your judgment, and he was not aware of what your evil intentions were. Okay, so was to break that up any way that you can, and you didn't even respect the grandkids. You try to feed them something that they could not eat, that they were highly allergic to, that they could have died from. And I definitely believe that was intentional. Um, you didn't go to the kid's funeral, you didn't go to their birthday parties, you didn't go to the wedding, you didn't go to nothing. She so so you even put it in his head that the kids, since they were hers, they had to go to. Like, but then again, that's one factor in this, but there's something else wrong with him. Okay, there's a bunch of factors that come into play to create a disaster. It's not one thing. It's never ever one thing. Um, it's just a series of unfortunate events and instances, and that's the truth. Um, so you didn't check up on him growing up. He was shy. He was quiet. There was something wrong with him, probably. Okay, there was probably something wrong with him, developmentally in his mind. Okay, I think that he is autistic on some level. Um, if he wasn't born a psychopath, which is what's that's a brain thing. You created him to be a sociopath, I believe. Plus, on top of the autism or whatever developmental issue he had, because he just, I just know that yeah, it had to be a combination, okay, a deadly combination. Um, so you didn't care about him. You didn't see nothing wrong with him, no, because you never saw him. He was an extension of you. You didn't see him as a person, as an individual, as somebody with emotions and needs. Okay, you neglected all of that just to show. You needed him to be in little league, you know, to show off. You needed him to complete college or trade school so you could show him off. But what about emotionally? What he went through? You don't know because you don't know him. You never saw him. Narcissists don't see people; they just see extensions. And it's like cardboard cutouts, as Sam Vaknin says, and they're not people. Your son wasn't a person to you, and neither was his wife or his kids. And still, you didn't even shed one tear for him, your grandkids, or your daughter-in-law. Not one tear in the interviews. Pathetic is what you look like to most of us people that are intelligent and can see what you really are. You look pathetic in your interviews. You sounded pathetic in your writing. And please do not be trying to profit off of this tragedy. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. You need the attention. You need the adulation. Uh, and that's what you people live for. Okay, that's the truth. You don't know what love is. You don't care about love. That's not something. You use the word, but you don't know what the meaning is. You never have known what the meaning was. You didn't teach your son what the meaning was, and your son thought lust and some other things was love. It wasn't love with the mistress or whatever. That was just lust, obviously. I think she was dating other people anyway. Now, how do you respect a woman that knows you're married? A normal person would not love a person like that or respect them. But your son seemed to think that was love and true love. Oh my God, it's so immature way of thinking. He was immature emotionally. And people can be productive citizens. They can look good. They could work hard and keep jobs, but they're still not grown emotionally. It's an emotional IQ, and he has a low emotional IQ. Um, and then she's another factor in all this. Okay, she wanted to be number one. She didn't want kids. She wanted kids with him. Uh, then you got the testosterone going strong because he's cheating, and then all these factors come into play. It's not just one reason for this. Um, and then he was taking the Thrive, which is a stimulant, and who knows what the heck is in there. I think he was doubling up on it, like taking too much of it. So he's overworking himself, over exercising, overdoing it, in general. And testosterone is also what's uh, what fuels anger and rage and all that. Um, there's many factors that come into play. It's not one thing. It's not just because somebody's evil, whatever religious people believe in. You know, that's simple. That's simplifying a complicated issue, and it's simple-mindedness. You can't just say that person's evil. That's not gonna solve the problem. It's not. You can't say you were possessed by the devil, and it's nonsense because minds are complicated things that we're still working on understanding. Okay, you can't just blame it on the devil. It's ridiculous. Of course, it's an evil act. Yes, evil exists. Evil exists. Um, so and what you focus on, you create. The guy was planning it. He even said he even admitted that. Okay, he was planning it in his mind. When you plan stuff over and over in your mind, you end up doing things without you even thinking about it. Like you just follow through with the plans. If you have it so stuck in your mind for a long, long time, you end up doing things out of your control, like he described that he wasn't in control because he already planned it in his mind that he was justified in doing it, and the people around him were planting seeds of negative seeds in his mind. Like people that he cared about, like he really valued their judgment. He valued his mother's judgment. He valued his girlfriend's judgment. Um, you know, and then you justify what you're gonna do. You're like, oh, this is a good thing that I'm doing. This has to be the way out, or uh, this is how people think when they murder people too. Sometimes, sometimes it's a rage. That's a different kind of killing, but this is like a calculated killing, and we know a lot about this case that I've been studying for like a year since it happened. And yeah, he's telling the truth in a lot of things that he says. And I can't wait to get my hands on this book because then I can um, investigate further. Okay, so there I am. I'm in the dark. Sorry. Alright, so I'm going to end this video now. I'm going to do some more videos as they come. Alright, so like, share, and subscribe. And have a good night.